I just watched somebody die in front of my face, dog. I watched somebody die in front of my face, dog. You get what I'm saying? This real out here. This black on black crime. Nigga out in the air killed the whole lady right here. I was just talking to this woman, bro. Bro, I just sat here and watched this woman. I just sat here and talked to that woman right there, dog. I just sat there and talked to that woman right there, dog.
One man's trip to a Gainesville Waffle House turned deadly, and detectives tell us he was just trying to surprise people.
But it was who he chose not to surprise that got him killed.
Nobody's listening. It's getting out of control.
Literally, a dude just got shot in the head. I'm so sorry.
Alachua County deputies say 41-year-old Craig Brewer was paying for meals and handing out $20 bills early Sunday morning. He was picking people, and he didn't choose a woman who was friends with a man named Ezekiel Hicks.
We start with a developing story. Gainesville police are naming the man who was shot at a car wash on East University Avenue in Gainesville. Gainesville police received a call around 12:45 this afternoon that 36-year-old Bobby Hopkins was shot in the chest at the Swamp Car Wash located at 912 East University Avenue.
The same reasons they need the riot hat, the riot jacket, the flak jacket, the double vest, the 9mm Glocks with extra bullets, the tear gas, the mace, all that. Who do you think the police is using that against? Dogs? So we fighting the same villains that they fight in the street. But instead of them seeing us fighting villains in the street, we all villains. And the main thing for us to remember is that the same crime element that white people are scared of, black people are scared of. The same crime element that white people fear, we fear. So we defend ourselves from the same crime element that they scared of. You know what I'm saying? While they waiting for legislation to pass and everything, we next door to the killer.
Drop it down, you'll be shot. Drop it down, you'll be shot. Drop it down. Drop it down.
We don't want to be shot.
One more step, we're going to shoot you. Drop it down.
One more step, we're going to shoot you. Shut up.
You cannot get to a building where you're going to hurt somebody. Drop the gun. This is no fool. This is real business. Drop the gun.
We start this evening with the TV20 News update on a shooting that took the life of an 18-year-old in Williston yesterday. The Levy County Sheriff's Office is identifying 25-year-old Freddie Williams as the shooter. There's a warrant out for his arrest on charges of first-degree murder. Deputies say he shot 18-year-old Kajan Lamont Spikes after the two got into an argument at the Marathon gas station on County Road 318 and U.S. Highway 27.
Looking back on the past year when it came to the deaths of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and many, many, many more, it leaves people searching and looking for answers to the biggest question that seems to plague our society. Why us? And to me, the answer is simple, but at the same time very complicated. Looking over the years of history, historically and recent, from what the studies have shown, yes, we have been targeted from Emmett Till to Breonna Taylor, but at the same time, we've constructed a target just as big on ourselves. And my plan is to hopefully shed light and answer these questions. I want to take you down on the road to a journey to see both sides of taking a different path.
When I first went in, my mindset was like thinking everybody was my people, like not realizing who my real people are. Cause when you gone, really nobody was there for me but my family. But I was putting them second, I was putting them last when I left, before I left. But now that I come home though, from time to time I might step out and go do something, now that I'm older. But like, at the end of the day, I know who really gonna be there for me at the end of the day. So when my family come calling, I'm gonna come regardless. You know, like the way I think, I read a lot of books while I was going, the way I think about things, and how I structure my brain about things, I feel more mentally stable though.
I knew I was different before I went to jail. I mean, it was a big shocker to everybody. How could a person like you go to jail? Not Mr. Good Boy, not Mr. Church Boy. And so it's not about the, I guess the outer appearance or whatever somebody want to say that you are. Because you don't know how people are in the head, you know what I'm saying? You don't know their mental state, you don't know what they've been through, you don't know what they're going through. So sometimes, you know, you just have to look past the outer appearance of what people, you know, or what you see and what you think you know, because you'll never know unless that person actually talks to you or anything like that. But at the concept of being locked up and things, this is one thing that people just don't know. We don't want to talk about it. And, or just say not the concept of not want to talk about it. People just don't ask questions about it because they think they already know what the prison life really is, and they really don't know.
So this how they do it. When you get on pound, they run down on you like, okay, boom, where you from? How old you is? Okay, who you rock with? Who you rock with some gang, they want to know what gang you in. So my first night, I told them I ain't breaking nothing off, so my first night in prison I had to fight. I fought a dude from Fort Myers. I fought him. He split my lip. I beat him up though, but them boys ended up jumping me in the bathroom. So my first night in prison, I didn't go to sleep. So like after that, I noticed like it's gonna be a long journey for me.
I do believe there's an element or part of that could be utilized as another form of slavery, because it's basically free labor, or you're doing time and taken out of society from being able to function or to be productive. In that form, it's a form of slavery.
Everything the same every day. You don't do nothing new. It's just, you really get treated like a slave, really. I'm gonna be real. Everything is just go with the flow in there. Whatever they tell you to do, you better do it with pride. You better do it with pride, for real. But they really like to play with your freedom too though, because they know they got power and they can do what they want to do with your freedom, so you got to watch how you move.
Just say a typical day in prison, you wake up about 4:30, 5 o'clock. You got to go eat breakfast, your bed got to be made. I mean, you can't be under the cover like you would out here on the street, you know, whenever you want to decide to get up. You know, you got officers telling you to do everything that you might not want to do, as far as going to the bathroom, as far as going to get food from a canteen that you might not even eat. It's nothing but junk food. As far as dealing with, in a big open bay, I had to deal with 60 to 70 men in one, you might well say shed, because it wasn't no AC or nothing. I mean, how could you cope with something like that? This is not normal.
When they abolished slavery, they still came out with other codes to keep black people down. And then they turned around the way to find out how to get free labor, which is jail. And they set up all this stuff, even with the drug game. They came out with a plan in the 60s, and so far, as you can see, the crime rate is for blacks is at all-time high. And that's where it all stems from, and they still getting free labor to this day. Prisons is a multi-billion-dollar business. And only the fat cats are only getting rich off of this. And it's still off our backs, just like how slavery was.
They're gonna make you work for that freedom. I promise you that. They're gonna make you work.
What you mean exactly?
You waking up 3:30 in the morning, got 15 minutes to get dressed. You sit in your toilet. You can't sit on that bed all day long. You can't lay down until 10 o'clock. You sit on that floor or you sit on that toilet. You go out to work squad. If you ain't got school, you go out to work squad at 7 in the morning. You come back at 10. Then after 10, you go back out at work squad at 11:30 if you ain't got school. And you got work squad to 3:30. I mean to 3 o'clock, then we go to dinner. Come back, guess what we doing the rest of the day? We finna work out all day.
And let's say I couldn't even go to Walmart when I first got out. It was that bad. My anxiety was so high and rapid that I had to pay attention everywhere I went. Now, we got some people that get out of prison that don't have a problem with that. I had a problem with that. I had a problem being around a lot of people at one time. It took time to adjust, and that's the thing. It's just like when I'm going in a prison, I have to adjust and refocus my brain to say, okay, I'm in here with a lot of people with a lot of different mentalities and a lot of different people with mental issues, a lot of different people coping with a lot of different things. So you have to really adjust yourself.
I know everybody that watches is not gonna be listening, but I'm just saying, if you is listening, I'm telling you, cherish your freedom, please, bro. Please. Cherish it. I'm talking about, do everything you do with a purpose, cause when you get behind them gates and you on that walk, you on the way to that chow hall, you be looking at that fence like, dang, like, you think about what is they doing out there right now? Like, what is the world like right now? You ain't got no fun. It's not like out here where you can hop in the car, go to the store whenever you want to. No, ain't none of that. You living on their time. You doing your time on their time. So enjoy your life. Live life to the fullest.
As you can see, there's a distinct correlation between prison and slavery. And how is it a correlation, you may ask? In 1863, of course, the slaves were free due to the Emancipation Proclamation signed by Abraham Lincoln. And as we all know, it led to the legendary date of June 19, 1865, the date where all slaves were officially free. But here's the kicker. Even though prisons have been around for centuries, there was still an underline. For example, in 1868, in the state of Louisiana, they began to have a flood of African American prisoners, but and hence they also realized that they profited 3 times as much by having African American prisoners. And ever since then, they've been profiting off of the backs of African American men. Now, every single man that gets arrested is no saint, but as we've seen throughout history, black males, especially dark-skinned black males, have been deemed as a danger to society, so to speak. And let me dispute this myth. Contrary to popular belief, there are more black men in college and in productive fields versus men who are incarcerated.
It's more so hurtful when it's coming from a person that's of our nature and of our color. Ones who know what the struggle is, ones who we've particularly been raised up with. And then when for somebody to come and take your life with a gun, it's heartbreaking to even see that. We live in a society of this day where that is famous, or that gets you more likes, or you get props for taking somebody's life. If you fight it out, then there's recovery from that. But if you take a gun and you shoot somebody and you kill them, that's forever. The loss is detrimental to the family, both sides. You have a dead person, and then you have a person that's gonna lose their life to prison. You're more impactful on the outside than you could be on the inside.
It happens to us more and more because people want to be heard. They want to be heard. Now, if somebody comes in trying to shelter that, trying to cover that, it's only going to bring more violence. You can't quiet somebody because you don't understand. You're not going through that in your life. So why is it important to me? It's basically saying that I don't deserve to live.
When I heard about KJ getting killed, I'm like, it shocked me, it took me who? He told me he got killed. I was thinking what if that was me? people say they didn't want me to go to jail, but I think that saved me from a lot. So I thought about, like, if I was still out there doing what I was doing, that could have been me. So I feel like God set me down and took me away from situations.
So you said that going to prison saved your life.
It was a blessing, but I ain't know, like, was it worth it? Like, to have my mama so worried about me, not knowing what's going on and things like that. I don't want to say it was worth it, but I feel like I wouldn't be here right now if I was staying out. I did a lot of wrong to people. And like, doing wrong, that's gonna catch up to you in the long run.
We need less guns. We need less violence. We need a lot of stuff to change. Like, it's like you putting yourself in a drought, like you putting yourself on a dark path and you just gonna follow that road. I ain't live a long enough life yet because I'm still trying to live more. But since I was 1 to 19, it was always violence. If you knew me back then, you would thought I was gonna be a kid that would have been in prison. I was gonna be a kid that was gonna get locked up. But I ain't never really been through that junk. I ain't never been all that junk. I always had a mindset to, you know, do the positive thing. Always get up out the way when the negative things came.
When it comes down to dealing with law enforcement and working alongside these gentlemen, it's not always the police that are at fault. When you dealing with communities of people that are angry with each other, instead of turning the anger into something positive, it end up going at each other. If they see the other one that's having more and they have less, they want to see the other one, they got a problem with the other one. It's a cultural thing. It's not a police thing. It's just like crabs in a bucket. When one comes up, going up, the other one try to snatch them back down. It's us as a culture. It's what's embedded in us as a people, that if one is doing better, the other one should hate that person. It has nothing to do with law enforcement or none of that. It's not a law enforcement black person issue. And I wish people get past that, because as soon as you say you need the police, you call them. But when you don't need them, there's something else, or they pigs, or they crackers, or they this, or they that. We got to move past that and educate our children to understand the values of being able to help another to get up as long as while we're going up as well. You can't hate on people because you don't have what they have. We got to get past that. As a culture, we got to get past that.
And like I say, it ain't no win and there's no victory in none of this. My family lost, and the person that killed my son, their family lost nothing. They could go visit their son to prison when he go. I got to go to the cemetery to visit my son. So y'all please take heed. Warning always come before destruction.
When it comes to black on black crime, that's one issue as a race that we don't like to really address. Yes, police brutality is completely horrible and something that shouldn't be ignored. And since the turn of the 20th century, we've seen a spike in more racially motivated incidents towards blacks skyrocket. No, that can't be ignored, but let's take a second and stop and think, and let's be honest with ourselves for a second. When it comes to you and your community, has it been more of us killing us or them killing us? From May to June of this year, in the area where I'm from, there were at least 4 incidents where someone died at the hands of another black person. And for one of those incidents, the victim was 15 years old and the 2 culprits were 14 and 17 years old, literally throwing their lives away at an age before they even get to experience what life is about. Yes, police brutality should be addressed, but what we do to one another needs to be addressed as well. And please understand, I get that police brutality is wrong and we're targeted. What I'm simply saying is the way that we kill each other, we're making it a lot easier for them.
I believe, it ain't really, white and black always gonna be something that's going on, but it's gonna stay at a minimum. But the real problem is when whites, so to speak, get done with us, we're on us, and there's no chill. If we genuinely just started loving ourselves, it will help us accumulate more love for others. Anything else is gonna probably bring us together, because that's all we need. Because we don't have no love. We have so much hatred for no apparent reason, and we won't communicate about it. So that's what discouraging us so much. We just won't open up about it. And I feel like our main problem is when we finally breathe, it's full of cuss words and anger, and nobody can stand, or nobody wants to hear that?
We have to take responsibility for our own actions. And I think that we as a community, as an African American community, we're going to have to take responsibility for our actions and make better choices and decisions, knowing that the system is somewhat against you. It seems like we would make better choices and decisions.
Less competition, less jealousy, less enemies. We need more business partners. It's like, if I see this man got something going on over here and I got something going on, why would I want to compete with him and beef with him and take him out and knock him from doing what he's doing and providing just so I feel like I gain more? Instead of making this man my business partner and we equals and we feed more people. It's like we kind of backwards sometimes, but it's all about breaking the cycle, you know what I'm saying?
It's hard. I mean, we making life hard for ourselves, and I don't think that we actually are paying attention to the things that we do and the things that we say and our, just say, our appearance to different things. We have to know what we're doing when we're doing it.
While you're in high school, while you're in middle school, start your grind off, man. Go ahead and start grinding from there. Whatever you want to be, start at an early age. Just go ahead and get out there, you feel me? If you want to be something big, go ahead and start at an early age. Don't waste no time. Go ahead and do it, because you're going to get seen, man. And the faster you get to it, the faster you're going to get seen. Don't waste no time, man. I promise you.
Cause where I was just at, ain't no men in there. You got dudes in there that got kids. They ain't home with their kids. So can't nobody in prison tell you they a man at all. Y'all just be thankful, man. If you watching this video, obviously you home and you free, so y'all be thankful that y'all home and God bless y'all to wake up this morning.